I just like staring at those 2 zeros onto that one specific circular feet thing right there. But I'm guessing because of how the fact that I've essentially got sorted and I did not meant to shoot my story pitch right there. And of course, what else? Another set of males. Well, to be more specifically, only one male specifically. Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am, what was I trying to say? Oh yeah, my name's Piglet here, from the likes of the Maxi Toys videos, of course. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Let's Play of Super Mario Galaxy for the Nintendo Wii. So, last time we actually did manage to, you know, continuously grabbing those power stars in the bedroom dome by simply exploring through Dusty Dome and beat the likes of Bowser for the second time. So today for this episode is the fact that we are about to continue on and just move on to the 5th dome in the game, and that is the forms of the, what else? The engine room. So even then though, because we're able to actually save Center of the Universe until later on if we manage to able to collect the normal power stars first, including by the forms of the 6th Grand Star, because yes, there's actually the 6th Grand Star around here somewhere, but of course we'll save that up until the next video, because obviously I need to focusing on the normal stages first. So let's get started in the engine room stages wise. We've got the Gold Leaf Galaxy, which as far as I can tell, we'll explain more details onto that when we get into the actual stage. So here we go, Star Bunnies on the hunt. So this means I believe we got to keep on keeping track with the forms of that Star Bunny right there. So I believe we have to catch one of them again. So yeah, as far as Gold Leaf Galaxy is concerned, not only does it feel exactly identical to the forms of the Honey Hive Galaxy, which is essentially kind of like the forms of that specific galaxy, except everything else is all mirrored. And of course, if you probably did not know, is the fact that it's all in autumn setting. So even then though, a bit different around here because of how the fact that, well, obviously because of how the fact that we might still able to come across into a beast suit eventually. So even then though, that way we could able to make it count. So even then though, there's no, you know, not much else to really say about this here. So, yeah, I do apologize by the forms of how the fact that with the lack of uploading schedules once again, because I said this, predicted about sooner or later that I've said there how the fact that we might actually upload every single videos for any singular days, but I do apologize by the forms of the lack of uploads during yesterday, just because, you know, still busy on Kingdom Hearts 3, and I still managed to play that for almost the majority of these days, because I still really think that Kingdom Hearts 3 is without doubt the best game at the moment for 2019 to me. Well, that could be same applies for Resident Evil 2 Remake, which I haven't really exactly played on that version for quite yet, because either way though, because I haven't really into the Resident Evil series. I've heard about them before, but I haven't really exactly played them as much. The only time I played on the Resident Evil game series is the Umbrella Chronicles, which was back in 2007, but we no longer have it just because of how the fact that, well, it might be a little bit more, I would say, on rails compared to the forms of exploration, compared to the forms of Resident Evil 4. I've heard for the fact that Resident Evil 4 Wii Edition is actually the best version of Resident Evil 4, at least because of the forms of the motion controls involved. And I might try that eventually, but either way though, as of right now, no. Because either way though, there's still some more things to able to actually just purchase for. So, talk about this little concert edition also is the fact that, one thing I forgot to mention about this actually is the fact that, alongside with those 4 games, as I mentioned this before, and what I was about to be selling and during the live stream at some point, but I've also managed to decide to sell my, 3DS game, or in this case, the new Nintendo 3DS exclusive title, which is, of course, Xenoblade Chronicles 3D, because, the reason why I've decided to sell that now is because, not only do I wasn't a huge fan of the forms of Xenoblade Chronicles series in general, well, the only character I do sort of recognize is the forms of Shulk because of Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo Wii U / Nintendo 3DS, and especially notable with the forms of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. But, that's not the reason that how the fact that I, wasn't a big fan of Xenoblade Chronicles series in general, at least in my opinion though anyway, but I'm still really into the RPG series, like for instance, you know, Kingdom Hearts series and Paper Mario series, and especially Mario and Luigi series, so you get the solutions for this point. So anyways, here's the Star Bunny catching event, and Seriously? That's all there is to know? Good thing that little, orange, or no, the green little, plastic, thing right there can able to actually just to stop the Star Bunny to able to actually get chased off. So, that's pretty easy, and no doubt about that. And yeah, that's what I can say about this mission. So because of that, in the very beginning of this mission though, is the fact that you need to able to collect those star chips, specifically the blue star chips. So yeah, you know, self-explanatory. So there we go. That's Star Bunnies on the hunt. So 65 power stars. So we're almost there to the forms of well, at this point we're still in the halfway point of the stars count. See, Fernando, hopefully we can able to get these stuff done as fast as possible. So anyway, so let's head back to the Gold Leaf Galaxy and do the next mission. So let's see what we have this time around. Cataquack to the skies. So this means we have to once again utilize the forms of the Cataquack, except the fact that, well, we need to deal with them a lot around here, because unlike the forms of how it does it in, well, we've already stumbled across Cataquacks before on one of the secret missions in Beach Ball Galaxy, but the forms of you have to use the Ice Flower, but now we need to able to actually deal with them a lot, even with this mission in general. And I believe that this mission actually contains the secret mission, which even then, we'll discuss about that whenever we get to it. So even then, for now, we'll go ahead and what is up with that blocking the camera view by that little plank of wood. But anyways though, if you go all the way around for this tree right there, alongside with the forms of these little star bears, as you can see right there, you can able to grab, there's actually that bubble right there, makes a return in Bubble Breeze Galaxy, but the only way you can do this is that you need to use the pointer to able to ring the bell, and then the musical notes will pop up, and I believe this is the secret mission of this particular level, and then all you have to do is very simple. You have to like carefully guide the bubble, and then to simply collect the majority of those musical notes, and that's all you really have to do in this mission. So once you've done so, then the power star is practically appeared. So even then though, that way you could automatically get to it. If depends on the bubble's momentum is about to be you know, influenced right there, then you would able to get that power star as normal. So there you go. And yeah, that's what I can say about this here. So the secret mission is called The Bell on the Big Tree. So because, you know, get it? Because, you know, ring the bells and all that stuff. So anyway, as far as I'm usually concerned about everything else, I just want to point things out as well. That how the fact that another reason why I decided able to sell my Xenoblade Chronicles 3D for the new 3DS this time around is because I just had a strong feeling about the fact that the 3DS never seems to end still, which either way though, it might be a little bit possibility if the 3DS might eventually going to be over on its life. Because after all, the 3DS has almost been out for about, I would say for 8 years, which even then though, at least ever since in 2011. Well, at least to be more specifically, but it forms have been, well, in E3 2010, whenever they first announced it back in about almost 9 years ago, which either way, that's, it's kind of shocking kind of think about it. But I digress. Because after all, we've only got, one first-party game we're mostly looking forward to on the 3DS at this point, which is Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn for the 3DS. Speaking of that game, recently that, enjoying yesterday actually, that I believe in Japan, and especially noticeable with in our country in UK, by the forms of Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn, we received the actual demo. So even then, I tried the demo out before, and the only courses you can only play on is of course the Fountain Gardens, and especially noticeable with, I would say Rainbow Falls, which even then though, that I believe those two stages can be played within 2 difficulty settings, just like in the forms of how it does it in, you know, in Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D, and especially noticeable with Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze for the, you know, Nintendo Switch, and especially noticeable with Yoshi's Woolly World, Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World, and including the upcoming Yoshi's Crafted World by the forms of the Classic or Melon mode. And the fact of the matter is, though, is the fact that there are 2 different difficulties in Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn, which is the normal mode, which plays exactly like the Nintendo Wii version, but without any motion controls. And especially noticeable by the forms of how the fact that we now have to rely on the forms of the actual 3DS buttons and all that stuff, even with controls for the 3DS itself. So you can then know that I don't know exactly for sure, although they eventually did get ourselves the forms of the Japanese overview trailer of the forms of Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn, or in this case, Yarn Kirby Plus, if depends on what that title actually meant. But that way it did show off by the forms of how the fact that how this game plays out, even though it plays exactly like the Wii version, but with some new features like the new transformations, or in this case some power-ups, as far as I can say for this matter. And especially noticeable with the forms of 2 new minigames based off from, well, usually one you have to play as King Dedede, and the other take control as Meta Knight. You know, just like how it did in the forms of Poochy and Yoshi's Woolly World for the Nintendo 3DS. So, you know, like in most of the levels you'll be playing as Yoshi, and some of these mini side levels can be played around with Poochy. So, you know, like the auto-scrolling, auto-running sequences and stuff like that. So, yeah, to get the solutions for this point. So, anyways though, excuse me, that, I did test out the actual demo before on by the forms of Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn, and to be honest, it's actually not bad actually, even though it takes a while to get used to, because I was so used to with the forms of the original Nintendo Wii version, because obviously if you remember by the forms of how the fact that back in 2018 that I seemed to already tackle for that game and during the likes of almost a year ago, because of the, you know, the retrospective of the Kirby games after all. In fact, we still need to get back onto the Kirby games, because after all, the next one we need to tackle through is of course Kirby Superstar Ultra for the Nintendo DS, and after that, then we move on to the modern Kirby series by the forms of, you know, Kirby's Adventure Wii, / Kirby's Return to Dreamland for those who lived in North America, and Kirby Triple Deluxe, and especially with Kirby Planet Robobot, and especially noticeable with, you know, the latest. Oh, really? You just knocked me back! Jeez. How rude of you. But anyways, though, yeah, aside from that, after with Kirby Star Allies, it will be done at some point. Well, it won't be possible to be released on the actual Let's Play of the game during the likes of this year, but definitely next year for surely, alongside with the gigantic Let's Plays we're about to consider doing, which even then, at this point, about the fact of the matter is, though, is that we're literally able to do continuously, well, I don't know about you, but either way, though, I'm not gonna mention about these things too much, because after all, we just got to the beginning of February after all. So, because of that, today was actually forms of, you know, the 8th of February, because originally this was supposed to be uploaded during the likes of yesterday, but of course I was super busy and all that stuff, and even try out the actual demo of Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn for the Nintendo 3DS, so that way I can give my first impressions of that particular version, even though I've still already pre-ordered that game, in case if I want to able to replay the game again, because I have to admit, some people seem to say that how the fact that Kirby's Epic Yarn was incredibly overrated as far as the actual game itself. I personally think that was a underrated game with the forms of Kirby's Epic Yarn, because sure, it looks different, but I don't mind about different stuff, even though with the absence of the forms of the copy abilities that I was used to back during the likes of the old days. But even then, I have to admit though, the gameplay style in Kirby's Epic Yarn is actually very unique to me. But either way though, that's as far as memories goes, that's what I can say about it. So, anyway, so let's move on to the next, sorry, I can't speak today for this point, folks. Here we go, on to the next mission in the forms of in Gold Leaf Galaxy, and that is, when it rains, it pours. So, even then, because of that, we have to deal with a lot of rain. You know, kind of like how it did in the forms of in Honey Hive Galaxy, where we have to deal with the forms of a lot of bug-type enemies to able to actually take down the Bugaboom in the forms of Honey Hive. But this time around, though, in this level, is the fact that now we have to deal with rain, even with water as a result of that too. So, because of that though, I believe we do need to get ourselves the bee suit for this point, because, or in this case, the bee mushroom if you want to able to be more precise, because, obviously, strangely enough, it's the fact that you can able to actually just, walk on, the rain clouds if you become Bee Mario, so, yeah, that's pretty weird, but hey, at least it's something, right? And obviously, the actual point of this, though, is the fact that when you transform into your B formation of yourself, you really don't want to get touched by the forms of the actual raindrops, or even the rain in general, because if you probably watched B movie before, at least because of how the fact that that film was now 11 years old for this point, and well, it's almost becoming 12 years old at that time, which I haven't watched it for donkey's years, but I think to me the B movie is pretty bad. At least as far as I can usually say, it's pretty underwhelming. But aside from that, the visuals look very, very good still, even though the story wasn't really too much of a story driven type of scenario when it comes to the actual film itself. And it's just that, just for the sake of the forms of the actual advertising stuff. Even then though, ironically, it's the fact that Shrek the Third, in this case my least favorite Shrek film of the entirety of the Shrek series in my opinion, and especially noticeable with the B movie, which is also one of my least favorite DreamWorks films ever consist of, they did manage to release on the exact same year in 2007, so yeah, that was a pretty bad timing, I have to say, for this much. But at least in 2008, though, they did manage to able to actually just manage to make these films a lot more improvement. Like, for instance, you know, Kung Fu Panda, and especially noticeable with Madagascar Escape to Africa, or in this case, Madagascar 2, if you want to be more precise. So anyways, here we go with this next boss fight right there. Sorry about a little bit of attention right there yet again. Basically, all you have to do is very simple. We need to able to do. You can either do it for a few different methods with this boss fight. You can either, if you're able to still transform into yourselves into B Mario, you can able to actually fly towards him and then just ground pound onto its glass dome. Or you can able to actually use this switch right there and able to actually make your way on top of the actual glass dome, and then that way you should able to deal the damage of the forms of that particular mall inside of that little cockpit. Now once you've done that for about 3 times, because like in any other bosses in this particular game, well, few exceptions mind you, does have 3 hits. So even then though, once you deal with all that, then the mission is accomplished. So there we go, that's it for this mission, and I believe since we've reached up to an even number of power stars, I believe we got ourselves our prankster comments coming up. So even then though, I wonder what else is it gonna be? Well, we'll never know until whenever we get back into that stage. So, anyways though, so let's go ahead and save our game quickly. Whew, that was quite a lot of things to work on with. So anyways though, we got ourselves the Cosmic Comment. So, yeah, at least ever since back in during the likes of in Freeze Flame Galaxy, we haven't gotten that into that point for a while. But even then though, it's about time to do the 3rd Cosmic Comment. So here we go. Cosmic Mario Forest Race. Even then though, we have to go, once again, going on to the race. But, you know, rather than just going through... Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention, actually, there was no whole alcove that normally in the Honey Hive Galaxy, that had the fact that you could able to actually make your way through that hole leads you to the forms of Honey Queen, but it's no longer a thing on this particular level because obviously that, you know, it makes it obvious. So here we go, onto the actual 3rd race of Cosmic Mario Race, and let's go and get ourselves our boost start. Ah, I failed right there. It's hard to be able to time this thing sometimes, especially because that, again, I was really used to with the forms of the Mario Kart system when it comes to the forms of the actual starting boost, but I have no idea why it's having a lot of trouble with this sometimes, but I digress. But still, if you manage to know what you're doing, you should be alright, but even then, I will admit the right away. Whenever the first time I've played this game, it took me a lot of tries to able to actually bypassing it, just because, well, I just need to be very careful with the forms of the very, very skinny platforms sometimes, but as long as you're able to get used to it, then you would be fine. So even then, though, that's about it for, you know, the Cosmic Mario Forest Race. So, and I believe that's pretty much it when it comes to Gold Leaf Galaxy for now. And then we'll be back for it sooner or later. Well, at least until soon enough. Oh, one-off by getting buddy forms of 3,600 star bits in general. If only if I don't waste one of them from the very beginning of the video. But anyways, let's sit for that and let's move on to Sea Slide Galaxy. So, I bet this level is going to be quite big. Because of that, though, we have to go all the way around in a circular formation or something like that. So, going after Globby. well, at least Goopy. As far as what that pronunciation I was going to be thinking of, but I'm just not very good at pronunciation stuff sometimes. And it appears to be a shark. See Fernando, that way we could able to meet up with him to see what he was after for. But yeah, aside from that though, there's not much else I can really say about this other than that. Still no sign of Nintendo Direct. I'm hoping there might be one until when it gets to Valentine's Day, in the forms of this month in particular, because either way though, you did done that before, back in 2013, as far as I'm concerned with this. But anyways, now, who do we have here? You, some friend of those penguins? Let's get something clear here, Landwalker. The sea is mine, see? If you want it back, show some gills and make it through 8 rings. Really? We have to go for those serious amount of rings? Jeez, it's like Superman 64 and Sonic 06 all over again. But, to be honest, I don't mind about it. Because either way though, it's very simple, self-explanatory. Basically, we need to make your way through all 8 of those rings, while simply you have to go chase after by the forms of that Goopy here. But the catch is though, is the fact that you won't be either missing those rings, or especially you don't take too long on this particular mission, because if you do, then chances are you're not going to get that chance to able to bypass through the ring, and you have to restart that mission again. And I believe you will lose a life, just like the forms of how it does it in one of those missions in Super Mario Sunshine, where I hate the fact that whenever I fail some of these challenges sometimes, the fact that whenever you're trying to deal with like, I would say by the forms of like trying to scrub through everything, or in this case just trying to clear off the actual like goop everywhere, and especially noticeable with the red coin challenges or something like that. The fact of the matter is though, if you failed one of the challenges, then you would able to actually fail and you lose a life, which either way, that's the only thing I was a little bit nitpicking with it. So anyways, as soon as you bypass all 8 of those rings, then you are done. So yeah, I believe you have to do this like twice in this particular game, and I did not mean to homie on you. I really do apologize for that, because that's what red shells are for. Not bad for a land walker. Well, I am a fish, of my word. The sea is all yours now, buddy. So anyways though, let's go ahead and take that power star, and once you know it, after this mission has been done, I believe, I'm assuming so for that anyway, since we've reached now up to 70 power stars, so that way we only got about ourselves, I would say, I believe we got ourselves about like 50 power stars left. See, Fernando, that way we could able to actually like 100% through there. So anyways, let's go ahead and continue, and what? The cosmic comets did actually appear as soon as I'd done with that mission before. So in this case, we have ourselves a double Cosmic Mario race for this particular episode today. So yeah, this is very entertaining, and let's just go ahead and see how it turns out. So, Underwater Cosmic Mario race, and I believe, seems to say, this might actually be one of the final ones. So even then, there are 4 of those cosmic challenges in total, so even then, now that makes it a little bit obvious for this count. But this time, however, though, we need to deal with a lot of swimming, so even then, because rather than just going on foot, and especially noticeable with the forms of ice skating in general, and even keep on jumping most of the time, but now we have to deal with a lot of swimming. So even then, let's go ahead and just do our boost starts, please. Oh, really? I did actually do an epic fail right there. Yeah, this really bugs me sometimes whenever I accidentally try to do it way too late or too early. Sometimes though, I might as well accidentally just try to perform a backflip instead. But either way though, it's not been too much of a problem, because either way though, that some people seem to think this is one of the hardest ones of the bunch. Well, I won't agree to that entirely, but I think to me, one of the hardest ones is definitely by the forms of, I would classify for saying by the forms of, I would say is Freeze Flame Galaxy, just because you have to do it with a lot of ice physics. Oh crap, he's gonna catch up. He's gonna catch up. Come on! Yes! Whew! Eat that, Cosmic Mario. You're never gonna outright run me. Well, at least for the most part, because the Cosmic Mario races are very easy, self-explanatory, because either way, you know, if you ever played Super Mario 64 before, then you would able to realize about the recognizable stuff about the forms of Koopa the Quick missions. So, yeah, you get the idea. So anyway, so let's head back to the forms of Sea Slide Galaxy, and I'll probably might as well do 2 more Power Stars for this video, because either way, I don't know if I can able to actually wrap things up with this done until on the for this video, but definitely in the next video surely. So here we go, faster than a speeding penguin, so it's like faster than the speed of sound. Well, at least for Sonic's quilt anyway, but in forms of like, I would say but in forms of, in Sonic Heroes, or in this case, in Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, even though I haven't really, looked up on the forms of, you know, Sonic's quotes and all that stuff, so even then I just want to classify for such. So anyway, excuse me, got something in my throat there, I do apologize for that. So anyways, let's talk to this, red penguin right there. We've got a penguin race starting here soon. Want in? Sure. Alright, this race is on. So basically, we have to race against with 4 of those penguins here. So, let's get to it. Now, funny thing about this is the fact that, I don't know what to explain about that. But anyways, enough about that stupid joke. Anyways, though, let's just go ahead and grab this red shell, because the red shell is a godsend on this race, because if you do it without it, then it will make it impossible for you to catch up. So even then, though, that way you should be able to actually keep a hold of that. So, basically in this mission is the fact that obviously we need to aim for first place, so that way you could able to actually get yourselves what else? A Power Star. So even then, though, that way we could able to actually just go ahead and try to aim for first place. But the only player you need to focus on right now is of course the red penguin, because he's obviously the fastest one of the bunch. And funny thing is the fact that those penguins right there, specifically the red one, I just realized, he looks exactly like that one penguin, but in forms of, I don't know exactly what the actual main character is in the film called Surf's Up, but in forms of how the fact that that one penguin can do a lot of surfing tricks and all that stuff, which I've heard about that film before, but haven't really watched the entire thing, just because, well, I just didn't think that interesting that me as much, because I was still into the forms of Disney stuff and everything like that. But either way, though, that's, yeah, because of that, though, it does have a yellow, I would say yellow eyebrows or something like that, which you might as well see that just right about now, but except the fact that he does have his, you know, swimming hats, and especially noticeable with the forms of the goggles themselves too. So, yeah, and not to mention with the lack of, you know, necklaces or anything like that. So, because of that, that's why I make it a little bit of a reference there. So anyways, I know it sounds a little bit pointless to able to actually say that specific answer, just because of how the fact that I haven't exactly, again, I have not watched Surf's Up at all. So, what I've heard about it is actually pretty good, actually, but even then, again, I haven't really watched it that much. And here's the Hungry Luma right there, which I believe this can only be accessed if you manage to able to accomplish that mission that we've already done. So, anyways, I believe it's about time to do one more mission in this video, and then after that, in the next video, I should be able to continue on. So, anyways, let's go ahead and get started. The Silver Stars of Sea Slide. Which I believe that this mission actually contains a secret mission, and I believe this one will also require the star bits grinding, just like the forms of how it does it back in Dusty Dome Galaxy. So even then, that way we could able to grab even more star bits as much as we can. Got to think about it though is the fact that Kitchen is the only dome that doesn't have the ability to able to actually just have you to feed the Hungry Luma for about you know, just specifically once in the inside portion of the kitchen dome. Well, at least there's one, but it forms of the outside of the dome, but I won't classify for counting that, because that leads you to the forms of, you know, the new stage and all that stuff. But either way, though, aside from that, other than the fact that there's also another solution is the fact that, well, I don't know about that, but anyways, let's go ahead and just use the bee suit for the forms of, like, specifically, flying about and all that stuff, and, I believe, as far as star bits requirements, whatever, when it comes to, like, the secret power star in this particular level, I would guessing is the fact that we need to go for, let's see if we can able to talk to him, let's see how much he needs. He needs about, oh, really, 40, I was 3 off. Hold on a sec. I'm hoping there might be some more around here in the distance though, which sure enough, there they are right there. So I'm sure we actually still got enough. So anyways, let's go ahead and just feed him. So that way we could able to actually reveal another planet. So, yeah, that's why I can really figure that out. So, but of course we'll be back for the Silver Stars until the next video. Because as far as Silver Stars in this particular stage itself, it's going to take a while. But even though that again, I'll save that for later. Is that planet kind of familiar? Well, it appears to be exactly like the ones in new forms of Horisuri Galaxy from, from the Fountain Dome. Except, the difference is here this time around though is the fact that you're obviously now in a bee transformation. And second of all, we need to collect a lot more musical notes, and as a result, they're all in one go. And as a result, if you grab them all, then the mission is done. So, self-explanatory for the most part. But, apart from that, well, it's always recommended if you want to able to actually make this mission easier, you highly suggest you're able to use the bee suit, because without it, then it'll make it impossible for you if you manage to able to do it, you know, as for certain accomplishments. So, but either way though, and also you really can't take your time either, because if you mess up at least once or twice, or in this case just once mind you, then you have to commit suicide if the musical notes did manage to go disappear, which I haven't really discovered that on my own time, but as far as I've noticed something, because of that little clock is ticking, well, it doesn't really show the actual time limit or anything like that, so, but once you're able to collect all of these musical notes, then, you know, the Power Star is you know, rewarded. So anyways, that's it for that mission. So, yeah, it's pretty easy though, if you manage to get used to with it, but, again, you need to able to use the bee transformation, because obviously the bee power-up will able to help. So, there we go then. And this secret mission is called Hurry, He's Hungry! Yeah, because, you know, he's hungry in general. But anyways though, I'm afraid guys, we're gonna have to end things off at this point right there, so join me next time on Let's Play Super Mario Galaxy. And I do apologize by the forms of my lack of dialogue and all that stuff once again. Anyway, so, yeah, it's the fact that we need to continue on with the engine room next time, so see you guys then. Later, fellas.